And welcome to the Barry Foster Show, coming to you from the Ridge Florist Studios in the City of Charm, beautiful downtown Avon Park. As always, if you have any thoughts, ideas, or suggestions, subjects you'd like us to broach, or people you'd like to talk to, just put them in the comments below there. If you would like to become a sponsor of the Barry Foster Show, just drop us an email at thebarryfostershow@gmail.com. We'll send you a rate card and get you all hooked up. Look good to have my wife Sandra in the studios with us for another Florida fun travel. And again, we are going into the City of Charm for a visit to a brand new restaurant. This is the second brand new restaurant in as many weeks. As you remember, we went to the Pour House, P-O-U-R, the Pour House before. And this time it is Charlie Faye's Depot. Now, when we first came to Avon Park, there was the Depot restaurant, and it was run by John and John for years and years and years. And one of the Johns passed away, and the other John ran it for a little while, but then he sold it, and it became the Diving Girl restaurant. And the Diving Girl restaurant, the Depot was really kind of a mom and pop, hometown, country cooking, breakfast and lunch restaurant. It was
kind of a pop and pop.
A pop and pop for that matter. Yeah, it was a gathering place where people would get together, kind of table hop, talk to each other. It was really, southern cooking. They had great breakfast and great lunch. They would have like different specials, like they have meatloaf and whatever else. Then when they sold it, some other folks took it over and had a different vision for it. They made it into the Diving Girl restaurant, and it was supposed to be more like upscale. Would you say? Like a First Watch kind of. I mean, they had avocado toast. That was kind of my bellwether. But they were trying to do something, I think, different and trying to be more upscale. That was an experiment that did not last, and recently the place has been. It sat vacant for a while. It's been purchased by a couple out of Wauchula, Florida. And they have Charlie and Faye. So the name is Charlie Faye's Depot. And they kept the name Depot, which I was kind of happy about. And we went and tried it for the first time. It was pretty good.
I thought it was good.
The
biscuits are always my test to see if it's a real home cooking place, and the biscuits passed the test.
Yeah, they were cat head biscuits, but only if you had a very small cat. The biscuits weren't that good. But right now,
not everybody knows what cat head biscuits are. I know.
What are cat head biscuits?
The waitress today, when you said that, she didn't understand what you were talking about. It's a term that Tennessee, I guess, and Alabama, it's a biscuit that's big as a cat head. And the old folks would say that and a lot of homemade biscuits in the Alabama and Tennessee are made by hand, and they'll be nice and large.
Well, when we first went in, it has a nice facade. The windows, I don't know that they've ever been cleaner. Those windows were They spent a long time cleaning those windows.
And there was nothing blocking the view out the windows. You could really have a good view of the main street there.
We sat a little bit further back. We sat a little bit further back than be able to see the main street. But you could see the gazebo out there, and you could see the Jacaranda Hotel. I mean, it was a real nice view. There's two rooms. There's the right-hand room, which is booths all along the one wall, and they've got some tables you can sit at. But the main room where you go in, they have a little lunch counter there where you first walk in, and they have tables that run down the other side to the back. And if you sit there, you can actually see them working. You can see the griddle. You can see them making your breakfast. And now we didn't sit. There was a lot of people at the lunch counter when we came in, but that's the kind of place where you sit around and talk with your friends. There's about a half dozen seats in there, I think. But everything looked like it was reupholstered. They've got this red and chrome motif. It's kind of a kind of a 50s kind of look to it.
I'm not sure, but what that might be a leftover from the diving girl.
Oh, is that right? It could be. I never made it. You and one of your friends made it to the diving
Yes,
girl.
yes.
But
we went there, but it was one of those places that my friend said that she wasn't happy with it. So from there on, we went to other places for breakfast.
well, when you first come in, on the left-hand side, there's a giant mural which depicts the Jacaranda Hotel, which is there, and it kind of looks like they're trying to get both the front of the Jacaranda and the side that goes down Lake Avenue, and then over on the other side they have depicted the Avon Park Depot Museum with the rail car. They do not show the baseball museum as part of it, but the mural has the California Zephyr there, and above that there's a picture of Head Field, the big baseball stadium where the Red Sox played back 100 years ago, and someone had done I thought kind of a bang up job with that mural. It was kind of a nice thing to sit under over there. And on the other side, kind of like Cracker Barrel, they had posted all these old signs. There's like a walk sign. There's a crosswalk sign there. They have a big Texaco gasoline motor oil sign. They had a street sign. They had Southern Pacific and Western. They had some railroad signs, speed limit signs, Gulf Oil, Beach Nut.
It was more like a car traffic
Yeah.
side. You had certainly a different feel when you went in there because the seats in that section were more like the old depot chairs, and you still had the booths there.
I liked the booth because it was padded. It was. I generally myself. The other seats are more regular chairs, but the booths have nice padding to them, and so it was kind of nice to sit in there. I thought they're only right now serving breakfast, and I'm not sure how long that's going to go on. But,
well, it starts at 6 and ends at 12, I believe.
And you can get breakfast plates, you can get omelets, you can get biscuits and sandwiches, you can get sides, drinks. There's and all kinds of bread, like French toast and pancakes and that kind of stuff.
And of course, they have the white and the wheat and rye, and they even had Texas toast for bread.
We had our waitress was Monica, who has been working for Charlie and Faye. I'm going to say it's them anyway, for 4 years, and had come over from Wauchula, and but the thing was that for the last 4 years she's been writing her orders on a piece of paper, and now they have this this computer system that as you make the order, I think it goes right back to the kitchen. There's
it's on like a handheld, the size of a cell phone.
Yeah, and while the IT guys were there helping the waitresses and the cashier go through and do everything, and they had everything was on a touch screen. And I said, "Are you Charlie or Faye?" He said, "I'm neither one." I said, "Oh, you're the IT guy." And I said, "You're doing the computers." And he says, "Yeah." I said, "That's where Satan lives." And everyone laughed because they know it's true. But he was there trying to get them, and I think maybe that's why they're kind of on just a short menu now till they get used to, because they were very accommodating. I went in, Sandra got the Charlie Faye's breakfast, which is 2 eggs and bacon, and sausage, and your choice of grits or potato, and let's see. Oh, you can get biscuits or gravy or buttermilk pancakes. So it was quite a deal. That was a great breakfast, and
it was a big breakfast.
Yeah, they didn't spare the horses,
and I was very sweet. I shared my bacon with you.
It was very nice,
because instead of sausage, I got 4 slices of bacon,
and she gave me 2. And that's what real love is, actually.
When you share bacon.
And I was looking at the omelets, and I did not see an omelet that I like, because usually I'll get like a veggie omelet. They didn't have a veggie omelet. So I was going to order the Spanish omelet, and tell them just hold the salsa, because the Spanish omelet is green peppers and onions. But when I told Monica I wanted to have a veggie omelet, she says, "We can make that for you," you know. And so she says, "What do you want?" So I'll have the onions and the green peppers, and that's the only veggies that they listed. And she says, "You want cheese with that?" I said, "Yeah, let's live on the edge. I'll have cheese with that." And so she and the price I had expected to get socked for it, but the price was very well. In fact, the prices there all are pretty low. I think the biggest thing that they charge is like $11. I think is or 11.99 is what they charge you for the Western omelet.
Well, for the omelets, but the Charlie Faye breakfast was $14.99.
Well, that's true.
But you got a half order of biscuit and gravy, which that by itself, I think it's like $5.99.
And the
Something like
gravy
that.
was really good. They didn't. A lot of times you get that gravy and they really hit it with a spice, and they did not do that on this one. The gravy. I put some of my. We both got the hash brown potatoes, and so I was using my hash brown, getting a little extra gravy over there, and they did not over spice it, which I was really happy about. Sometimes you get and the biscuits when she asked me what a white wheat or rye, and they had biscuits. I said, "Do you make the biscuits here?" And she says, "Yes, we do." So how could you say no to that?
Well, and they came out hot and fluffy and very good.
I, you know, we have, and we just, in fact, as late as last week, talked about a place we went where we expected the biscuits to be homemade and pretty good, and they fell a bit short. And I told the gal as we were leaving, who I don't know who made the biscuits, but they did a really good job. Is it all in the cold water? Is that what it takes to make the good biscuits?
No,
Um,
biscuits aren't made with water, they're made with milk, buttermilk.
this is why I'm not a cook, okay? But it seems like they had taken your advice and gone down to some of the women in the Baptist church to figure out how to make biscuits.
That's not my advice, that's yours.
Okay. At any rate, uh, we went there, and you have a lot of different breakfast selections. And one of the things that was emblematic of the old depot was the fact that you could table hop and see friends. And so
And you did.
and we sat down, and one of my friends, or a lady I've known for a long time, she and a friend of hers, who both, by the way, are real estate agents, were sitting behind us, and we had a nice chat about Avon Park, and she asked me, "Barry, what do you think of Avon Park?" And I said, "Well, in the last 2 weeks, we've had two apparently now pretty good restaurants that have opened up. In fact, I didn't know it was a good restaurant. I talked to her until I saw my food came, and I said, I got to sit down now. I can't let it get cold." And it seems like Avon Park economically is on pretty much of an upswing. They had this poorhouse that just opened up. Charlie Faye's is now opened up, and they were pretty well populated. I was kind of surprised at the amount of folks that were in there.
And how was your coffee?
My coffee was very good. Oh, the coffee came in big cups. I was really kind of I was happy because a lot of times I'll give you these small mugs, but they gave us a big mug, and it was really pretty. I thought it was pretty good. The coffee itself was pretty good, and the whole that whole dining experience was good. The ability to kind of meet and talk to your friends, that was great. Our waitress came out right away. She took care of us right away. The food came out pretty quickly, I think, all things considered. So I didn't find anything to kick about there.
Well, it is really somewhat those who love the old depot. It has somewhat that same feeling. And the bathroom is still in the same location, and the two sides of the restaurant are um, somewhat like the old depot, except that front side as you come in had the um, more, somewhat more of a upscale chrome and red seats.
Hmm.
But and it was just tables. There were no booths on that side. Um, and then they had the people sitting at the counter there. But for the most part, it had quite the same feel. And as you say, um, meeting people and being able to talk back and forth to people that you knew.
And it kind of gives me a couple of things. Number one, I'd like to go by and back and try some of the other dishes that they have there. I mean, when you have a good restaurant. And the other thing is their Charlie Faye's restaurant in Wauchula is called the Double J restaurant. And it makes me kind of want to go to the Double J now and kind of take a look at what they have over there because it's if they do this good a job over here, going over to Wauchula is not a big trip for us.
Well, they had some nice biscuit biscuit and just regular sandwiches also that made it easy to have a handheld breakfast to maybe order ahead of time, run in there and pick up if you're in a hurry. They had the two biscuits and gravy, which was $6.99. The one biscuit and gravy, which they considered half an order, was $5.99. But they had also the biscuit, um, egg and bacon, or biscuit, egg and sausage, or biscuit, egg and ham, um, grilled cheese with ham, and they had an egg sandwich, so, and a BLT. So it would be easy for someone who's in a hurry to call their order in and just run by and get a handheld. And the price of their drinks, um, in today's market, the $3 is not bad, although there was no refill for the chocolate milk and the hot chocolate, hot tea, milk, and orange juice. It looks like the um, Pepsi products, tea and coffee, you could have refills on
Well,
them.
that being said, they were very quick to refill my coffee. They did a
Yes.
great job on that, and I appreciate that. You know, I'm kind of a bread guy, so I'm really looking at their hotcakes and waffles that they have over there because you can get French toast and you can get blueberries and chocolate chips on there if you want to. I mean, you know, they have a you can get two cakes, two waffles, and then you can add the extras, the bacon and ham or the smoked sausage or the corned beef hash, whatever. It's real country. You know, Avon Park is a small Florida down home country kind of place, and so it's nice to have that kind of a thing there.
And the blueberry pancakes did look very tempting.
We may have to go back and do another report on this. We want to make sure that everyone has all the. But the omelets were good. They whipped the eggs. The girls on the griddle seemed to know what they were doing, you know, and the omelets were good. It was pretty well packed with vegetables. They didn't spare the vegetables on that. You know, sometimes they're a little stingy with their stuff, but these folks didn't seem to mind that. I might try the Western omelet with the ham and the green peppers and the onions next time. You know,
Well, the time we were in there, it was fairly busy, I thought, for it to be the soft opening. And we were not there at the prime breakfast time.
I didn't think it opened until like 9, but it opened at 6. So we got there what 8:30, 8ish, 8:30, something like that.
After most people who work or
Hmm.
who had things to do would have already had their breakfast.
So the breakfast menu runs from 6 a.m. to 11 a.m., but they're running till noon now till the girls get used to this handheld computer, you know, and make that work. But they were quick and everything. I don't know what they did to make it, but it seems like it's brighter. It seems like it's bigger. I don't know whether they changed the decor somehow or maybe it's just the white paint that they use, but it seems like a bigger place.
And I'd remarked that it just seems like the windows, although I'm sure they're the same size, it seemed to be like a much more open view to the street where you could see the city workers out there working in the median and people walking the sidewalks, cars going by. You could see the gazebo. It was just really very open.
Yeah, I'll tell you that you could go very early for breakfast, and then do some stuff downtown. Maybe go over to the Peter Paul Art Museum for a while, and kind of walk on the streets and look at the way things are, and maybe some of the improvements that are being made down there. There's a couple like the nail salon. There's some. Stop by the Chamber of Commerce and talk to Camelo Long down there, and then you can have lunch over at the Poorhouse. And have yourself a little craft beer with maybe one of those great pizzas that they have, or some of the bites, the cauliflower bites, or the spam fries. So you can make a day of it there.
Well, we took a nice walk. It is a nice town for walking. It was quite windy and brisk.
Mm-hmm.
One of the coolest mornings we've had for quite a while. But then we walked down the side street there, and it warmed up when we got out of the direct line of the wind. But Avon Park town is a nice little town. You could take a walk after breakfast.
Yeah, we walked up to the First Methodist Church. Saw a friend of ours up there who was working, and we had a nice little chat with them. And it really, when you look at the number of opportunities that are there for people who want to maybe have some small businesses, it really is a beckoning to foot traffic. I think that they're going to get more foot traffic, and of course, Avon Park has the first Christmas parade of the season, and they have some other things that are going to start having their hometown hangouts, which will be the second Friday nights of each month.
Which is coming up very soon.
Very soon. So you have a chance to do that in the evening. And so it looks like the City of Charm, at least economically, has a very bright future in front of it. It looks like. But I can tell you that if you're looking for a breakfast and you're in Avon Park, we can recommend Charlie Faye's.
I would recommend getting a biscuit.
Getting a cat head biscuit, and the biscuit with your breakfast is good. I can recommend. They made me a veggie omelet. Next time I might try some meat. Although I'm gonna suggest they get some selenium. I'd like to have some mushrooms in my omelet. I think that's something they need to add. But they're very new yet. They're kind of making up as they go along. So that and you can recommend the Charlie Faye's breakfast.
Oh yes, it is a big breakfast for someone who wants more for breakfast.
And let me hold on here. Let me take a look. I'm gonna see if I can find their street address here. Their street address is 21 West Main Street in Avon Park. If you want to set your GPS to it, it's a family restaurant with home style cooking. So, and if you want to find them, they've got a nice little disc for their symbol there, and they've got they have it looks like chicken noodle soup and green beans is their picture on the top, but it's Charlie Faye's Faye, Charlie Faye's Depot home style cooking. You can find them on Facebook there and take a look. And I think pretty soon we're going to be posting. I took pictures, of course. I took pictures of everything we had, so we'll be posting those, and we'll let you know as we go along. Some of the other places we go in beautiful downtown Avon Park.
Well, it just seems like a lot of positive energy is there on Main Street. I was really very pleased, and certainly we'll look forward to going back.
Yes, and we hope that you'll have a chance to go and let us know what you think. You can put your comments right down here below. Remember, like and subscribe our page, please. But put your comments right below. And if you want to drop us a line, you can go to thebarryfostershow@gmail.com. So, and next time we'll be going someplace more exotic, I think. We may go someplace like Vero Beach again. In fact, if you want us to go someplace, let us know. We're looking for a vacation. Okay. Well, we're sitting right now. We are in the lap of luxury. We're 90 minutes from the Gulf. We're 90 minutes from the Atlantic. We're 90 minutes from being in a big city, Tampa, Orlando, and we're also 90 minutes from being out right in the dead middle of the country. So,
but I don't think right now a person could beat for a day trip coming to Avon Park, because you've got the regular museum there, historical
They got the Historical
train.
Society Museum, right?
And then you've got the baseball
Museum.
and then you have the
Peter Paul Roberts Museum of the Arts upstairs in the community center.
and then you can walk down the street and you could have breakfast before you go to all of these museums, and then you could have lunch after, and even stay for the evening because
Over at the poorhouse. Yeah.
There's quite a lot of nice places up and down the street.
It is the city of charm is picking up charm even as we speak. So you've been listening to the Barry Foster Show from the Ridge Florist Studios here in the city of charm. As always, if you would like to make some comments, put them in the comments below. If you'd like to send us an email or become a sponsor, you can become a sponsor by going to thebarryfostershow@gmail.com. As we continue to look for truth, justice, and the American way, Barry and Sandra Foster, and we'll see you next time.